let's see. Let's see the shakeup here. Wow! Oh, Tigerack was ninth! No! Oh, Tigerack, no! So close. Oh, Tigerack, you were point 0.2. Oh, it's so rough. We have to keep going with Ludwig. It's Ludwig versus Watchwander. That's such a crazy matchup. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, J Feather, no, you made 17th. No. All right, so we got a top 8 on our hands here. A lot of different decks. Actually, pretty nuts. We got uh first seed Sakrator playing Orzov Yorion versus Gresha, who is playing the Boros aggro slide list, an old school. We're gonna watch this match here. This is 4 versus 5. Watchwander on the fifth seed playing Storm, Blue Black Storm, against Ludwig, who's playing the talk of the tournament, I think, which is it Swans. The rest of the matchups, just real quick. Cyber Rider playing Mono White Heroic versus Honorbound, who's playing Orzov Martyr's Grace. And MGT Fan, who actually don't know I don't know what they're playing. Let me look real quick. What? MG Fan is playing Oops All Spells against can't Fidgeman, who's also playing Oops, so it's an Oops mirror for top 8 there. That's your match. That's your top 8. 2 Oops, 1 Heroic, 1 Is It Swans, 1 Storm, 1 Orzov Martyr, and 1 Orzov midrange with Yorion. No Dreadnought. That's thing to note. No Dreadnought. And 1 Cycling, aggro slide. Forgot about that one. Interesting top 8. All right, but yeah, definitely Watch Wander and Honor Bound. I think the 2 players to definitely watch for this tournament. I think like they're on Watch Wander, definitely odds-on favorite to win this tournament. Before the tournament even started, they won the most tournaments this season. Onward and also like I think that the top 8 is really stacked. It's a very stacked top 8 of really good players. So this should be a good. This should hopefully be a really good top 8. Ludwig's barely played this season, but somehow has wiggled their way into top 8 with this Is It Swans list, which is really funny. I think it's actually really funny. But yeah, the road to the victory here, the road to the path, the road to top 8 here. Watch Wonder had a round 1 bye, won the first 3 matches, lost 2, and then won their last match to make it here. Ludwig has won, did not have a bye, so went 5 straight, lost to the eventual first seed, and then won their last round to make it to also make it. The Swans list is more or less is it with a, a bridge package with cleansing wildfire. While Watchwander isn't playing Storm past couple of tournaments and been doing pretty well. Like kind of a basic package of like a bunch of Mind's Desires, Tendrils. They're playing Luris for founding more or less, and I mean Luris just says like 3 mana draw a card. Sorry, I just gotta move this over. Oh, don't close that. Answer their question while I use opening Google Translate. with Masa. What does Masa mean? Okay. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Like, we're just considering their options, I suppose. I don't think just pass. Hidden step, watch wonder, impulses. Single impulse. Kind of dabble with single impulse. It's probably better. Like, notably, I guess this deck doesn't play like strategic planning. It's going for founding instead, which is probably just a better card. Founding could just be like an insane card with Florist. You can just kind of keep chaining. Feels cruise pretty well. It's a Sorcery Suite Snapcaster. It's all good things. All right, big impulse here. I'm trying to figure out something. I think like game one is just about, I guess, knowing that like, Ludwig is playing more of a control deck with like a bunch of counter spells. You just have to lay around all of them and like historically, I would say like the control deck would kind of suffers against um the storm deck. You just eventually have too many things to do. There's too many things to counter. You can really just choke their mana and eventually they can never really just tap out and do something. You can just continually pressure them with like combinations of spells. So it's really tough. It's actually a really tough matchup for Is It? The Is It Swans Ghost. Like if you don't have a click clock, you can just the storm can just keep trying. They can just keep trying for the most part. All right, they milled over double tendrils with the founding. That's concerning, especially since they have another founding in their graveyard. So that's well, I guess you could like if you have a big desire, you could just kind of use the last founding to just flash back the tendrils. That definitely puts us in hard mode. Most of these lists play about two tendrils, so because of like some reasons of like sometimes they want to discard one tendrils, but when you get both of them in your graveyard, it's a little frustrating. Um, so so really, it's just about trying to hit a really big like Mind's Desire at this point. Watchwater's gonna probe to see if the coast is clear. It puts alerts in their hand, and then they're just gonna pass. So the plan might be to just try to keep chaining the foundings till you can get something going. Notably, they don't have a second black source for Florist just yet, so sometimes that second black source can be hard to come by. You don't want to really want to burn a ritual just to cast a Lurus. That might just get countered. All right, first update of the day. MTG fan beats Fidgemin in the Oops Mirror. Probably a die roll dependent thing. So MTG fan on to the top four with Oops All Spells. All right, Cabal Ritual. Might be here just to cast this Luris. Or maybe just to go for it. I think they're just going for it. Like, even if you counter this, they might have a second spell. Hello? Oh, they discarded the Luris. Okay, so I think they're just going to go for it. Hoping to hit... I mean, all three Foundings are in the graveyard. Okay. Desire for 2. Hey, Industry Fan, though. Thanks for congrats on your top 4. I almost said thanks. I don't actually know if they can win from here. If you discarded the Luris and you have the 3 Foundings in your graveyard, maybe they're just looking for information about the deck. Maybe that's the reason to keep playing. They're going to lose focus with Treasure Cruise, which... Or what would they lose focus there? They could pay for the 2. Just to kind of choke their mana. It's a really weird spot. I don't think there's any way that Watchwonder could actually win this game, given like the state of their graveyard. Like they're both tendrils and 3 foundings and all the lures, they're all there. So I don't know, unless there's like something crazy that happens. Like Ludwig just kind of concedes for no reason. I think Ludwig wins his first game, which is like the game to steal. It was absolutely the game to steal here. I've like theorized of like playing cards like Discovery Dispersal. Uh, this is still game 1. Maybe just try to bounce things. I don't know, or some sort of module spell that like reanimate something. Where is? No. All right, frantic search. I don't know. Lugwood just has to like hang out. They don't have to do anything. All right, big desire. Where this goes here. They have a petition. Ludwig is actually not even like yielding. They know that like they have to like hold priority. Double desire. This would normally be death. This would normally be like absolutely like I'm conceding right now, but you should always make them play it out, especially when there's Lots of money on the line. All right, this definitely just eats the rest of the deck. So everything's on the table here. There will be no more cards to exile after this. As noted, I don't think they can actually win from here. All right, Ludwig wins game one by doing nothing. Really silly, very silly game. That was an interestingly goofy game. Um, I don't know. Game two is gonna be an interesting one. Ludwig has some like really bad cards to take out, mostly like Chain Lightning, and just kind of bring in some little more blue counter spells like Dispel or whatnot. Um, for the Storm deck, it's definitely like Defense Grid's the name of the game. Against like a blue X like sort of controlish deck, Defense Grid is probably your best tool versus all this. But yeah, but yeah, just winning this game is really big for Ludwig. It could be in the play for game three. Maybe that makes a difference. They could um, maybe power out a quick Swans to get their deck going. Who knows? We'll see. Like in any like deep tournament run, there's definitely like luck needs to be involved. This is like one of those moments where Ludwig is very lucky to win this first game. There's just been like unfortunate flips from the founding. Yeah, I assume that like All right, turn two founding. Doesn't mill over any tendrils this time. This is kind of like the weird part of the founding. It's like the timing parts are like can be really awkward to do things at certain times. You really need to like. This is why I didn't like the deck because in a way I thought it was like the skill cap was too high for me sometimes. Like deploying at the perfect time is really hard. Like sometimes you just can't be ready for it, but they're gonna go for it on turn three with the is a player tapped out. They didn't have a third land here to untap a third land, so that's an interesting to note. All right, ponder. All right, another call from the field. Sacritor continuing their hot streak, wins against Boros Cycling from Grescia. So I think Sacritor hasn't really lost a match yet. Did they win their last round too? They did. They're undefeated through this whole tournament. That's crazy. Orzhov Yorion makes it to the top four. All right. Another founding, which I think is. I think they're watch runners considering the which chapter to start on for founding. Kind of a tough situation. They haven't played any sort of they haven't really waited for anything. They've just gone like full sprint into this matchup. They didn't wait for their defense grids or anything like that. They might have probed like one turn and try to do something. So they're going for the first chapter. Gonna probably play nothing. It looks like nothing. Gonna try to queue this up in the right time. Dimir Optimus is very scary to play in this matchup with the deck with a bunch of Ghost Quarters and Cleansing Wildfires. All right, is it gonna play an Impulse? Maybe looking for one of those 8 cards I just mentioned. Like hitting a Wildfire here is like so brutal. Just like it eats so much mana. Like it's totally worth it to Wildfire them. I would think. Like you basically just get to stone right them. All right, Ludwig taking their time. It's been a very like cautious matchup. They found the Ghost Quarter. I would definitely just Ghost Quarter this. They're waiting. No. Oh no. I would have just done it. Because now, if like now they have to like let them go to their main phase. If they find like a frantic search, they could just make a bunch of mana. It doesn't really matter. I would have just done it immediately. I like, and from my experience, every time I've played against this and they just immediately ghost quarter me, it's been so bad. Like now that they have priority, they could just make some mana here. They put a Lurus in their hand though. It wasn't really that much. This has been a really like tenuous matchup. I'm definitely still down to just ghost quarter them. Like now that you've like gone through their end stuff, you just should do it. Unless they really need the mana to try to kill them. There is Stern Dismissals. They did show a Stern Dismissal in their graveyard for something like swans plus chain plan. So if they try to chain their thing, they just get it bounced. So you do have to be you have to be careful about that if you're the Izzet player. All right, still hasn't decided to use the Ghost Quarter. I think they just need the mana. It's Sagator is on Orzhov Yorion. It's like an Orzhov mid range deck with Yorion. Basically, it's just Yorion. It's an Orzhov deck with just all your good cards and Yorion, so you can play all your good cards. It's a pretty interesting deck, but they're undefeated, so can't say anything about that. All right, big turn here. They're gonna go to chapter 3, so they have to figure out what to flashback. There's a lot of options, but let them get just like done nothing. They've played 2 spells and just left all their mana untapped. So it's a very scary part. All right. The Frantic Search copy gets memory lapse, which is actually a great use of memory lapse. It just kind of eats the copy altogether. All right. Duress is going to get a peek at the hand of Ludwig. Also gets memory lapsed. They're pretty choked on mana. They would have to Dark Ritual into a Frantic Search to kind of like go off from here. But it looks like they're passing again. Interesting. I wonder if they just try to go for it here. Um, there's just 1 mana untapped, so maybe they have like a dispel or something to protect their swans here. That'd be interesting. I think that's what they're trying to play. I feel like that's what they're trying to play towards. It's like getting the 7th mana so they can have a dispel or a spell pierce, and then try to go off. Assuming they have like the Conflagrate, double Simian Spirit Guide sort of plan. Alright, looks like they're gonna stay patient. I mean, they also have to just draw the swans. They haven't casted a single. They've only cast like 2 draw spells, and they're planning to get blown up a little bit because they've lapsed up the duress. So like, Watchwander's just gonna immediately duress them. Okay, they decided to. This is great because if they've lapsed the duress on top. Now, if they Ghost Quarter, they have to shuffle their deck to find a land, or they just eat the shuffle. So yes, they decided to shuffle away the duress. So great use of the Ghost Quarter. The patient play has paid off. But now you can't Swans and Chain on the same turn. They missed their land drop, as a player did. This has been really crazy. End of turn, Chain to the Dome. Watchwater just kind of like drew their card and passed. Oh man, we're burned now. We're counter burned now. That must mean they have like a large number of chains in their hand, or they want to cruise here. All right, cruise is the answer. Did they hit that land drop though? I think this might be the point where Watchwander can kind of go off. Time might be in essence too. All right, 3 mana kind of to deal with. This isn't too bad. If there's ever a time to go for it, I think it's right now. All right, Ritual is the first sort of like um yep, they'd added this spell, so I think they were ready for 7 mana to try to do everything. This was a nice clean answer to this Ritual. All right, they're gonna jam the Luris, which does help get back the founding. All right, do they? I mean, this is the time. If they have it, you have it. Swans into chain. Oh my god, I think Ludwig's doing it. I think they're gonna do it. All right, here we go. Draw my deck, or draw most of it. This is really just an execution test at this point. Just don't mess up. And I think the Swans player is going to go to the top 4, beating Watchwander, one of the favorites to win this tournament. All right. So, yeah, I mean, if you've never seen it, the way it works, that Swans doesn't really take any damage. And when Source's controller draws, the draw cards equal to damage prevented. So, with Chain, you could just like draw 3 cards, discard a card, and keep going. So, you can just draw like almost your entire deck, or pretty much your entire deck. Then from there, you use Simian Spirit Guide to cast Conflagrate that you probably discarded at some point, with like a ton of cards in your hand. So at this point, they're just waiting to find the Conflagrate. I will say that if it's on the bottom 3 of their deck, it's, I guess, the last chain they could just target something else, like a Luris or something like that, or their opponent. So you can never really deck yourself. All right, there's a Conflagrate. So now they have to have 2 Spirit Guides to order the cast flashes back. And then they have more than enough cards in their hand, so they've stopped. All right, Spirit Guide. Flashback and Conflagrate, discard all your cards. Maybe your opponent doesn't have something here. All right, we're just waiting for Ludwig to click all these cards, and that's it. Discard X cards. There's 20. Wow, that's it. Swans beat Storm into the top 4. That's nuts. That's actually such an upset. I mean, no shade to Ludwig. That's a crazy upset, I think. All right, and we're back. Oh my god. we got Heroic versus Orzhov Martyr. Martyr's Grace for the last match. Don't know what game this is. It's the Prophecy. Ludwig moves on. All right, so what we got going on here? A bunch of rune halos for the creatures here versus a silent gravestone to stop the abiding graces. But I mean, a single ranger into a Sarah Ascendant will definitely open this game up wide open. Oh yeah, I mean, like I was just saying all along, like man, just like blow up their Karoo land, but you waited the best time for the lapse, I guess. That was like really great. Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough mill into like you discarding the last founding and Lurith. I was like, oh man, you were just doing the LSV. It's like showing them the win. Like I have it, huh? I have no idea what game this is. It's supposed to be at least a sideboarded game as setting Gravestone's on the battlefield. The time difference is not very good. The heroic player is definitely down on time. Like if they've this game feels a bit unwinnable for heroic at this point. Like for the Orzhov that being at 44 life. But I've seen like this is a rematch from the Swiss. Heroic did beat this deck with a crazy 2020 Illuminator Virtuoso. So all right, Squadron Hawk. This actually breaks a bit of the parity of like this life totals. Squadron Hawk can actually start attacking, which is like very great. Can break this matchup wide open. Yeah, this definitely will take a while. If not, the game's already decided, and maybe the heroic player just has to hope that honor route messes up, which they kind of won't. I don't think. It's really hard to mess up this position anyway. There's like too many things that could have to go wrong. I mean, for instance, like you can't even damage them with the rune halos. There's a couple of seal of cleansings though in the heroic sideboard that they might have brought in. Yeah, I mean, white is a very good color for in terms of like sideboarding and whatnot. Not too much time left for the heroic player. If they've like if they're up, I mean they're probably their best bet is just to concede. But I think being the board state it is, they're probably down and they need to just try to win. They got rid of the gravestone with the Vindicate. Now they can start just looping random things. I mean, they can only really loop like a martyr or Kami now can be looped. Hex Hunter does something. I'm surprised they're not playing. The card I always want to play in these lists is what is the one drop that draws a card? Like you sack parcel something or other. Parcel mirror? No, that's not it. All right, nope. They're just gonna concede that. All right, Honor Bound makes it to the top four. What is that card? Combat Courier. That card needs to be played. All right. So your top four is Orzhov Martyr, Orzhov Furion, mid range, Idit Swans, and Oops All Spells. We'll see the matchups and see which we want to play against. Probably just continue the Ludwig train. I watched that with the other. I feel like the honor bound matches are going to take a little bit longer, so we can always come back to it. It's a clean 2-0 for honor bound. We'll just keep this going. Just push this report just to get it through. All right, so I think this is a rematch. Ludwig versus Sakrator. The other side is Oops versus the Orzhov Martyr deck. So this could be an Orzhov. This could be an Orzhov finals if it shakes out right. We'll see what happens here. We'll probably just continue with Ludwig. This is now a Ludwig stream, so we'll continue with this. The honor bound match is bound to go late, but I don't know. The Oops matchup could be really quick. Thanks everyone for watching, by the way. It's been a long day, but thanks for sticking around. Hopefully end this with a bang. Yeah, this matchup here we're about to watch is a rematch from round 6. Sagrator hasn't lost a match yet. Ludwig did get close, but there was a really unfortunate game 1 from that where Ludwig forgot to remove a dried militant and decided to discard their win condition into the militant. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But Sakrator's been doing really well. Their deck is just chock full of good cards that do good things. On the other side, it's Orzhov Martyr against Oops All Spells. Oops All Spells has been the best deck this season by far. It's carried MGG fan all the way there. But Honorbound, former PD 500 champion, might be able to do a couple of things. We'll see. All right. Our first matchup. All right, Sagittarius on the play for the semifinals match. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever played in a while, Landon. I know you feel the FOMO is real, but I did okay, not great. I'm pretty sad about my result, but it's okay. It's all for fun. All right. Turn one. Turn one dried Milton into Life of Toshiro Umazawa. It's kind of crazy. Already hitting hard for four. I've seen this card in the sideboards of like slide, but seeing it up here right now is pretty interesting. It's never dead. It's an interesting card. It's actually never dead. All right, so again, they'll just probably pump their militants. Chapters 1 and 2 are about the same, and then chapter 3, it just turns into something that casts sorceries. We can always like gain life here. I mean, I'm saying they can always just gain life if they needed to. Add nothing on board. This is the best it can be. They have a creature on board. Yeah, they could choose. Yeah, they get to choose. Watch both matches at once. All right. Chain Lightning takes out the Scholar that was holding. I forget what they took, but I think really for the Swans deck, they just have to watch out for like uh the removal spells, the Vindicates, the Shielders Edicts, the Bloodchief's Thirst. So they've got to just kind of make sure they can either like protect their Swans or hope them they tap out to where they do their thing. Memory Toshiro here. It's a 2/3. I mean, it's not nothing. I don't know if this like mana dork thing is useful, but who knows? There are a bunch of instants and sorceries in this deck, or at least a couple. All right, a Campbell is just another body, but I mean, it's not nothing. I don't know. Oh, they're gonna memory lapse this or even lose focus this with the Spirit Guide. This thing's probably huge because you really can't take that much more damage. Little was already at 10 thanks to the Toshiro saga. They also have done much in the way of like main deck removal. They have the chains, both chains, chain lightning and chain plasma. So they can only go so far when they're going this wide. Like if they start going wide. All right, ponder here. We're looking for an answer to some of these creatures. I think the step one is just to get rid of the Dryad Militant because it does stop your Swan's plan. The Toshiro is not the worst card, but definitely gotta find something to kill this because it can't really do anything with this on the field. I guess you could just block it, but if they have an edict here, that'd be really good. With 2 mana up, they have a counter spell. On the other side, oops, sorry, won game one thanks to a quick Charbelcher activation. The alternate win con of oops. You can combo with it? Oh, well. Oh yeah, you just kill the militant, right? You draw the Cathartic to kill the militant, I think, right? And it doesn't go exile. But they have the edict. Is there a counter spell? Spell Pierce. All right, Wasteland Strangler, another great way of killing swans. Also, just can't be spell pierced down. Lots of cards in the exile pile, thanks to the Giant Militant. And there you go. Black White wins game one in a very fair fashion. This is such a like a crazy run for Sacritor. They've like just gone through everyone and all sorts of decks too. They've beaten Mono Red, Storm, this deck, Oops, Cycling, Mono like White Weenie or Heroic. I don't know what everyone. They beat the Dreadnought list. Like I think they beat a Dreadnought list, but they've literally beaten like every deck. Man, what was Yeah, they beat the Is It Dreadnought list. So they've literally like beaten every matchup that like you could possibly have right now. So we'll see if Ludwig can bounce back with the Swans. I like their cyber plane from before. They brought in the pyroclasms and the angers and the flame slashes. It's kind of like beating what's on the board for the most part. Some of the more dead cards like Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is like okay, not great. Um, it's really the Vindicates and the Edicts that he has to worry about. Maybe mostly Edict. Yeah, it's just kind of like there's just a lot going on. Especially it being a Yorion deck, you kind of really don't know, but it's only been 4 games, right? He had a pretty decent sideboard plan. I think that last match kind of just got unlucky. All right, turn one Bodyguard. Dauntless Bodyguard, just a Savannah Lions. Doesn't really do anything on its own. But hey, attack number 2, always a time honored tradition. All right, Freebooter, just extra copies of Tide Hello Scholar. One of the main tenets of this deck is just having something to exile so you can wasteland strangle something, but also just a disruptive element in form of creature. So they take a chain of plasma, leaving another chain, lose focus, and a bunch of lands. And they top deck the anger. Wow. What a draw. So they get back their chain. Luckily, a lot of these decks don't play, especially in black, playing something like Lost Legacy. It's kind of fallen out of favor for a lot of decks, but imagine if this deck just Lost Legacy Swans. What would they do? I don't know. I don't know if the Swans actually even win. Like, you'd have to go like Spirit Guide Beatdown. Taking out the island, wondering if they could like mana screw them. They won't. They have double Ghost Quarter, so they have to just Ghost Quarter their own lands. That was a really aggressive Vindicate, but the deck is very mana hungry, so I don't really hate it. It does mean that future like Shambling Vents probably can't get Ghost Quartered. They'll have to use a Ghost Quarter to fix their own mana. Yorion goes to hand for the Orzhov deck. And just pass turn. Wildfire finds that island, so now I guess Ghost Quarters are freed up again. All right, Vindicate on the tap to ghost quarter. It's kind of rough. Oh my. Oh wow. I have oops on the other side of the matchup, but it was kind of crazy. They went Automat went for a Vindicate. I don't know why they waited, but I guess in response to a Vindicate, they went Dark Ritual, activate Charbelcher. Oops in the finals, beating Orzhov Martyr. Wow, that was really quick. Both on Charbelcher kills too. Crazy result there. Not really sure what you were playing around, but you did it. I guess they have like a Surge. I guess Surge of Salvation's a card that you could play around. Silence, yeah. All right, Spirit Guide has hit the battlefield. So the winner of this is going to play Oops All Spells in the finals. Kind of a fitting end, I would say. Oops being in the finals here. It's definitely been one of the best decks of the format. So, uh, all right, 2 cards left here or 3 cards for Sacator. A lot of mana up though. Wonder at some point when Ludwig decides to go for it, if they have the tools. Land go for the Orzhov deck. I wonder if it's just like a bait to make them go for it. Oh, I don't have much. Let's just do it. All right, they found a recruitment officer, which is great to try to refill the hand. This is this 4 mana. Try to draw a card. They could whiff though. They could easily whiff here if you're not careful. All right, they found a Campbell. It's a great card to have. All right, Chain Lightning. Right into the recruitment officer. It's interesting. I guess it does just keep drawing cards, so you might as well get rid of it now before they untap again. They found a Kitchen Finks. Oh man, I love this deck. These Kitchen Finks. I guess like Ludwig just doesn't have anything, so they can't really. They're not doing. That's why they're not really doing much. Cybertor definitely has things to do. I would say Kitchen Finks is in the end all be all. There is Anger of the Gods in the Izzet deck. There's one left, so it's something like the grindy element that is the end all be all. Oh, they're just like Finks and Pass. Ugh, so good. All right, Kitchen Finks in the Campbell. Definitely a great time to cast Anger of the Gods, which Ludwig might be holding. All right, instead they're gonna chain the Campbell. Oops, all chain lightnings. Again, when there's matches going on to play Oops in the finals, Orzhov here up a game with a very strong 3-2. And another recruitment officer. These little things are just so annoying. They're so annoying to just churn through. Alright, let's see if we hit a bodyguard, which protects the recruitment officer. I'd imagine they protect the recruitment officer. Yeah, that's so good for them. All the red base removals. Gonna really tough to take out this bodyguard. Alright, Flame Slash has to hit the bodyguard first. You just sack it in response. Yep. You can't just like test them. Alright, they're gonna chain the recruitment officer, which doesn't do anything because it's indestructible. I don't know if they knew that or not. I sense that's a misclick. Or just a lapse of judgment. It's been a long day though. A lot of Magic has been played. It's tough. It's tough out there. The Sculler's just gonna reveal the hand. Kind of see just how poor Ludwig's hand has been. It's probably a loose focus. Or it's a lapse. Okay. Another Sculler. Something we're gonna see something. Yeah, it's been unfortunate. We'll see. Gotta keep grinding though. It's another chain. Alright, they're gonna keep drawing cards with his recruitment officer. I mean, if they have a loose focus in their hand, they try to bodyguard their Tidehollow Sculler. Or we could just eat the other Tidehollow Sculler. Or just take another. Might as well just counter this. You might as well. Your last card's loose focus, you're gonna lose it anyway. I guess there's also a note of just like not countering it if your top deck is meant to be. If you're meant to top deck the anger here, maybe you just take it in hopes of keeping the card in your hand. Because either way, you need a Pyroclasm or an anger. So maybe there's merit to just like letting him take it, top deck the Wrath, and then you get all your cards back. Maybe I don't know. That's a hard ask. It does save you. Well, if you top deck a Pyroclasm anyway, you would kill it. You would already kill the creature and get your cards back. That's my point. But yeah, I guess. Oh, they have New York chance. Never mind. They had it all. Okay. I mean, they're not dead, so I guess now countering the spell feels great. Now countering spell like makes them not dead. They have one life to live, so now the loose focus looks great. What can Ludwig do here? That was just a really unfortunate chain of plasma, thinking they would kill it with the bodyguard active. Okay, officer gonna keep drawing. Man, I'm really impressed with this card. That whiffs. That's okay. This card's been really impressive. I've noticed. This finds another Scholar. I think it's the fourth one. The third. It's at least the third or fourth one. Maybe they've seen the same one a million times. No. We'll see if they deploy it. Uh-oh. They didn't play it. Oh my god, Ludwig drew the anger. They didn't play They didn't play the Sculler and Ludwig drew the anger. Why didn't they play the Sculler? Oh man, the game continues. Yeah, you drew it. Of course you drew it. Like they didn't top deck out here. Okay, well the game goes on. Maybe a misstep from Sacritor. We'll see. But one life to live once again for Ludwig. Nothing can go wrong from here. Like they have to just keep. They're barely alive. No, you would have died. No, because you it doesn't justify it. No, you made the right play because if you didn't counter that, you would have died to them orange chanting you, and then it would have attacked you for lethal. So no, your play was correct according to how this game has played out. All right, but another skull. The Sculler now just sees the some new cards, but the only exception did happen. So like it happens. I mean, it's a hard game. Magic is a very hard game. That's just incredibly deep. I know. Okay, Sacritor making the choice. Must be a tough choice. There's two cards. I mean, there's not much to think about. They have a Pyroclasm and a Chain of Plasma. Wow. If I had to guess, Sacritor is probably holding another Edict or a removal spell. Because this is a tough situation we got. But any spell, I mean, anything is lethal, so they definitely need to have like a removal spell every turn. Yeah, for sure. If they could find an X3 this next turn, like maybe they could beat the chain. Because you kind of have to kill. They have to kill the Sculler. So the chain has to like target that. And then if they have like an X3, like another Campbell or even like or something. I don't know. Alright, they found a wildfire for a redraw. Oh, Kaya needs to like die immediately. Alright, chain themselves. Didn't even bother to play on. Sanctor is gonna win 2-0, continuing the undefeated streak. Moving on. I don't know why they just gave up, but you know what? It's fine. No, you chain the Sculler. Can you not chain the Sculler? Does that target things? Oh, it's only player. Oh, I'm 80 target. Oh, you can't? Oh, then they just copy it, right? I'm stupid. No, they copy it. They copy it and they die. Duh. Who do we know? We're not in the top eight. We gotta believe Ludwig here. Yeah, they just copy it and they kill them. Alright, Sacritor goes on to the finals, playing its Oops All Spells. This tournament's almost coming to a close. Thanks everyone again for watching. If you're not following the stream, hit that follow button real quick. Okay. Apparently the other match didn't even report, so kind of, yeah. I mean, it's not the black white we all thought it would be. It's the black white that just made it. It's a Yorion black white, but it's not slide. It's just happens to be just a good stuff deck. But yeah, here we go. Two people new to the Painted Truffle Finals. MCG fan on Oops versus Sagator playing black white or Yorion mid range. This is the finals. The winner is gonna make a lot of money. And in card order credit, And also, they're going to be immortalized as PD 500 champion. Sakutora has not lost a match this tournament, beaten everyone in every type of deck. It's already beaten one Oops deck already. MCG fan on a similar run, beaten many different decks, gone through tons of people. Only has lost to Heroic, but here we go. We're just waiting for the combatants to be paired to make their match. A lot on the line. Basically, it's a $40 swing here for first between first and second. It's a lot. First place gets 130 tickets thanks to card order. Second place gets 90. But yeah, shout out to Card Order once again for sponsoring us. They've done a great job of supporting us and letting us just do all these goofy things. I don't know many people know this, but honestly, like the PD 500 and the kickoff events were all card hoarders ideas. They wanted us just to do like big fun events, and you know, and we obliged. Like, yeah, we'll do it. It's been a lot to get to this point, but you know, the planning and just overall, just kind of like structure, but it's been fun. All right, Sakator is hosting the match, waiting for MTG Japan to join. Yeah, Carter has been great for us. It's been awesome. If I could talk to one, I might say thank you. Yeah, I never think about it that way. It's like a job. Like I'm in a privileged position. I've won two 500, so I am like definitely like swimming in like a lot of tickets. So and I'm still using them. I don't use them at all. But yeah, but I think like what Pain Dreadful does is like it lets people play Magic for cheap, and Card Order like helps you enable that. I think like Magic is such an expensive hobby, you know, and like Penny Dreadful helps alleviate one of those stresses. Like, cause you could just like put together a deck of just like trash commons. You could play Magic, but I think Penny Dreadful lets you play powerful Magic, like fun, interesting Magic, like real constructed decks, like not just kind of like goofy slop. You could do that, or you could just have like great times playing good decks. But here we go. Here's the finals. MG Fan versus Sakutora. MG Fan wins a die roll on Oops. Okay. Die roll very important here. Win, play, draw. I think a very important key. Oops already being on the play for this game one is pretty strong. Sakutora mulligans to 5. MC Fan decides to keep 7. Definitely one of the things you want to mulligan towards in if you know your matchup, like at least game one, your best bet here, a Dryad Militant. Dryad Militant's very hard to stop. Um, it will stop the Dread Return from milling over, but as having red here, the Oops player does have access to Spike Field Hazard, and also a juke is Goblin Charbelcher. If you just draw the Charbelcher, all of a sudden you can just power that out. That's how MTG Fan actually won and gets honor bound by just playing Charbelcher and activating it. 3 mana dog Kunaros. No, there's actually no Kunaros in the main deck or sideboard. All right, Sagittarius kept 5. And we're off. Tap land, of course. All right. All right. The Zoops have it. Oh, Duress. Duress isn't like a total whiff. Cards like Vindicate are really good. This is the whiff though. Tight Honor Scholar is not a bad draw. You can start disrupting the opponent. So both hands will be revealed. Sacritor has a Campbell, another Sculler, another land, and a Wasteland Strangler. So that the rest was a big whiff. Title Squad is going to be a hard choice. Basically, because all the multi-face lands here, any card can be taken because they're all just non-land. They're lands and non-lands all at once. So we'll see. If you're looking at a hand like this, I think your best bet is to take a ritual. Rituals are very like they just kind of start the game immediately. So, or if they have a ton of rituals, you want to take one of the 8 enablers, either Battle Stage Spy or Understanding Informer. Yeah, Sacrifice list is very mid range. Like it's it's got like a nice curve of like 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's actually just 1s, 2s, and 3s, and the top end is just Kaya's. So they've taken the Understanding Informer, leaving them with a Charbelcher, and a couple of lands, and a Dread Return in their hand. The Caverns gets played. Yeah, Sculler is amazing, and they have like 8 Scullers and in the Tyler Sculler, and they're playing 4 Kitesail Freebooters as well. So 8 ways to disrupt. If it's me here, I'm playing the other Sculler and taking this Charbelcher. You do not want this on the battlefield. But they're gonna go for a Campbell or a Wasteland Strangler. I don't know about this. If you have a second Sculler, why not just take the Charbelcher? This is a very aggressive line. I think their worry is that like they'll just have a tap land go. But if they have a ritual, they just ritual out the Charbelcher. And then what do? You don't unless you've drawn to Vindicate. Okay. I guess now they can just Sculler now. They've ripped so many lands here. Alright, they're playing a Campbell. And a Bodyguard. Did they not have a second Sculler? I'm so confused. Was that just like a bug here? I swear they had 2 Scullers. Anyone. Alright, if they play the Charbelcher here, they take 2, they gain 2. But like, is this lethal? 3. They go to 11. This is not 11 damage. I could have sworn they had a second Sculler. I don't know. Am I being nuts? Or maybe they just had the 1 and I forgot to exit out. Maybe, I don't know. I'm so confused. Alright, they put Yorn in their hand. So, I mean, once this is activated, the game will be over. Someone's gonna... I'm so confused now. Maybe I just, like, whiffed on this duress. Okay, they only had 1 title or skull. I'm sorry. They only had 1. I'm just being dumb. I think I just did X that out when that... No. They just had 1 scholar. Okay. I'm stupid. Game 1 goes to oops. They'll just play your lands and play a Charbelcher. So yeah, how the way Charbelcher works, obviously they don't have any mountains or any sort of lands in their deck. They have lands, air quote. So they just flip their deck and that's it. There's a lot of like interesting cards that the black white deck has at their arsenal. They're all like actually like spell based. So things like Surge of Salvation and Orm's Channel, all like the Great Red Hate of Choice. Like Surge of Salvation is actually a very interesting card And the beat's kind of like both things, I guess. Like Surge will just stop this for one turn, but it'll definitely stop a lot of Giant plan. Same for Orm Chant. Orm Chant can kind of air quotes counter a Dark Ritual. So they ritual, and then you just Orm Chant in response. They can't do anything else about it. Um, that being said, maybe each player brings in defense grid if their plan's mostly like they have a lot of different ways of disruption, like between like the militant and kind of the spells. So there's lot going on. I guess you have to bring in more Charbelchers and kind of just shave on some other things. I'm not sure. Loop sideboarding is very, I think, hard. You just have to like really shave on some cards and just hope you can kind of get there. The deck list feels very tight. I can never play oops. Honestly, it's just like very right. Like it's funny to me how like the deck doesn't just play four Sharp Elders and four of the other thing, like the other one condition. So you can't fit every card. So you wonder if they just go full Belcher or maybe like shave some oops cards. Who knows? The other crazy thing about Belcher is that you can't actually extract it with stuff like Lost Legacy. Well, Lost Legacy specifically, but all right. Turon Militant is a great start. Um, they can't mill over a bunch of like Dread returns, so really the Charbelcher plan's the strongest plan right now with the Militant in play. If I had to guess, Sacritor's just gonna hold up one white mana for the rest of the game after this turn. Double Militant, it's good insurance. They played the Hazard. They do need a red mana to start killing these things, so they probably have to play the first one. I wonder if we're gonna see like a Vindicate. Vindicating on a land is like very strong. In this case, I'd probably just take out the black source because I want to get ritual. Okay, they have a recruitment officer. It's not bad. I'll keep the cards flowing. We wish had something like a Kunos or something, but I think even like Town Hall Scholar is a fine card to have. All right, Freebooter's nice. Get to peek their hand, figure out what you're dealing with. Double Ritual Charbelcher. They drew the Lava Giant and they have a Narcomoeba with an Informer. That's a crazy hand. I think you just take the Charbelcher. I guess you just take the Belcher. You have double militant to cover the Undercity Informer plan. So Charbelcher doesn't really die to. Interestingly, they didn't just jam it out there with the ritual. I guess they must have been worried about Orm's Chant. So indeed, they take the Charbelcher. Yeah, I just said the same things. Like, but they're probably just worried about Orm's Chant. They've held up one mana since like turn 3, so they're definitely signaling it. I think at this point you just have to play the Undercity Informer, or at least attempt to play it, because it's a 2/3 blocker. I guess you're dead anyway. All right, and Campbell. Campbell will just heal it. You really can't do anything with this Campbell in the field with 1 life. Yeah, so okay. Wow, we're going to game three. It's been a quick one. Interestingly, I don't know. As like the combo player, it's tough because like when you have like this, when you have one of your lines taken out, you have to just like kind of hope for the other line will work. So I'm surprised they just didn't try to do it. But here we go. Game three. Oops is going to play. I'm going to win the die roll. So the final match of the PD 500 for season 29. Who's going to come out on top? We'll see. Mulligans are resolving right now. Sacrifice Mulligans to 4. Oh no. MC Fan has kept 7. Is this maybe a product of just having a Yori on deck or just trying to find the right hate card, especially being on the draw? That's tough. You never want to see that here. Ricky Malkmeyer pass. Playing. Do we at least have a Druid Militant? No. All right, this might be a Duress. Duress is huge here. Let's see what they've kept. All right, they took an Orange Chant. They had another Orange Chant and a Swamp, as well as a Kaya. What a hand. This could actually go far. Let's see. All right, Duress again, though, takes the other Orange Chant. This is going to play the nice patient game. They drew a Bodyguard for the turn. That's rough. Double Duress here from the Oops player. The only best thing that you can do is just keep drawing lands. They found the Militant! What a top deck. But they have a red open. They might have the Spikefield Hazard for the Militant. They don't. But if they ritual out a Charbelcher and make a land drop, that could be game. Oh, wow. What a top deck from Sacritor. They stay alive. And oh, Astron's a redraw. And if they play the Bodyguard now, they can protect the Militant from a Spikefield Hazard. They hit a land. Bodyguard. It's going to hit the Militant. Okay. This is something. The last card in the hand is a Kaya. Kaya on an empty board is nothing to scoff at. They could start just churning through their hand here. MC Fan needs a Charbelcher right now to stay in this game. Land pass. Oh. 3 mana. They're gonna play an Understanding Informer. That's a blocker. Let's see if they have if they draw land here, they could play this Kaya. They don't. They have a Sculler instead. That's nice disruption. They definitely can't use the Militant yet, or try to go off yet with Militant play. It's gonna flip all their like Dread Returns or spells because of the exile effect from Militant. Militant is the MVP of this whole tournament. Every time I see Militant in play, it's like nuts. Like it's just done so much. It is a secret. It's a secret hero of this format. All right, they took a Charbelcher. They have a second Charbelcher. Oh my god, this is crazy. Okay, so now Oops is gonna untap this Charbelcher and play 1 turn to draw a Vindicate, or something that basically stops the activation for Charbelcher. Man, they just had it all. This has been a crazy game. It's an actual back and forth game. Did they have it? Ash Slaves are redrawn. I don't know if they can have it. They need a disenchant effect that's not in their deck. I think we're gonna see a concession in a second. All right, and the Japan just has to activate. I guess I can have a Surge of Salvation here to stay alive for a turn. No, they don't. That's it. Oops, all Charbelchers. NG Fan wins. Wow. Oh, they drew the Vindicate off of the Astral Blade. That's so brutal. Oh my goodness. That's that's so heartbreaking. Oh man. The magical run of Sacritor ends at the very last minute. That was so close. Yeah, that was actually a real game, despite the mold of four. That was crazy. Yeah, that was a great turn. That was a great top eight. I think like Oops winning doesn't surprise me at all. It's like such a crazy result. Tough on Sagrator. Just like won every match till finals, but I mean they can't complain. 90 tickets isn't to scoff at, but the champion is Fan. Playing the best deck in the format. I mean, it was the best deck for sure. We could all say that for like certain. That's definitely like there's no doubt about it. It was the best deck. Only the double Q could beat you, Watch Wander. That was a crazy finals though. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Um, do I look at the top 16 list? I could. Let's see. Extend this video a little bit. What is like the turbo powered version, right? It's every time Narcomoeba was like legal, it just gets so much better. Let me get some water and I'll do this real quick. I'm so parched, but and I'm so hungry, but I gotta do this top 16 analysis real quick. All right. Well, we do have the winner here. I already had it pulled up. Yeah. Definitely just like a very streamlined Oops deck. Going for a lot of the giant plan over the Azami Lap Maniac plan. It's less cards. It is susceptible to more hate as a lot of the giants like a targeted effect, but that's very like minimal. Like it's really just Dark Triangle Ball Ritual being kind of broken cards that enable this deck, and Narcomoeba which being like a goofy free spell. Um, yeah, and Charbelcher giving the deck another avenue to make use of your rituals is really strong. Like this has been the perfect combination of cards to make this deck really good. They only lost to Heroic, which can be a really close matchup. I would see. Like according to Baker, it's very close, but yeah, they've gotten through. They went. They beat the Mirror twice, and Honorbound here was really good. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, Japan's been playing the deck for a while, so it's never like it's no surprise that the best deck probably won. Hmm. Okay, let's see. Look at our second place. I had it pulled up. Where are you? Okay, here we go. Second place, I think, and then from here on out, it's a bunch of surprises. I think like this is Orzhov deck. Orzhov's always been like a widely widely popular combination of cards. Let me just refresh this real quick. Um, like Dried Militant, probably the real star, the real hero of this format today. Just does everything, just attacks, kind of messes up a bunch of different decks between like blue cruise decks or even Oops. It's really good. It's like one of your main tools here. They have 8 sort of like Sculler effects and Freebooter and Life or Tyler Sculler. Strangler's nice removal spell, like Campbell's. Main deck Campbell is a nod to Storm for sure. Nightclubber's interesting. Just kind of a thing that kills your other opponent's things. Like they made what is that one card? I don't know. The fact that it's on a creature is kind of insane. So I've never played enough. So even plays like Kitchen Finks. Yeah, definitely more slight on the aggressive side. It is kind of mid rangey, but like a bunch of 2 drops are really fun. Sideboard's pretty interesting. Isolate, Surge. No actual like Silent Gravestone type effects. But I don't know. They got there. They got all the way close. They beat every sort of decks here too. Like red, is it like heroic, like cycling, everything. Swans twice. It's a crazy run for them. All right, Honor Bound. 4 repeated by Chain playing Orzhov Martyr. I was afraid to play against a deck like this because these decks can be really annoying to play against as like a Dreadnought player. But yeah, I kind of forgot Sarah Senate was legal until Honor Bound started playing it again. I was like, oh wait, this card's really good. It makes like it gives you extra real win conditioning for these Grace decks. They'd be really slow, but yeah, main deck Lurrus as well because you can't really have it in your sideboard. So they're just extra copies of Abiding Grace. That's pretty strong. Also plays Dried Militant. Another, you could see that card a lot. um, yeah, not much to say here. It's always been like good, not great, but they found their niche here. Again, everyone lost a heroic at some point, but that oops loss was crazy. That was a crazy oops loss. Swans is definitely Swans from Lugwood is definitely the darling of the tournament. Lugwood comes out of nowhere, hardly plays. It comes out with a Swans list. Everyone's gonna just copy and play randomly. But yeah, Swans with your Chain of Plasma, drawing your deck, and then you try to hit them with a big Conflagrate, which is really fun. And then it's like sort of like bridge Wildfire Shell, so you can kind of just like play this nice control game. Like cards like Wildfire are really great against like Oops All spells, things like that. So you can start stone raining them while drawing a card. It's really fun. Spell Pierce. So this is really just a blue control shell. This deck was very surprising how they went through some of the decks. They beat a couple of Dreadnought lists, Noob's deck, lost to the eventual finalist here twice, beat the Orzhov deck, and that Storm matchup was so silly. I'm gonna watch that again and see that. That's such a silly thing. All right, top 8 here. First, we'll talk about Heroic, the Baker T Classic. Everyone's asking. Some people, hey, what should I play? Baker just posted their lists. Good old quad laser here. 4 all around. Mono white heroic. Milton again showing up. Doesn't need to be heroic to do something, but everything else. Hoplite, Family Saver, and new card Illuminator Virtuoso. Pretty great. I saw this card do 40 damage on its own. It has to be good. It's so nuts. Yeah, Judgment, another like disruptive threat. Like a lot of these decks are just built to kind of like mess up Oops, but another Lurrus deck. Lurrus also, it's gonna be sad to see Lurrus go, but this deck has been pretty impressive. Carried a brand new player all the way to the top 8, so shout out to them. Oh man, the old boogeyman rears its head once more. It's Boros Cycling from Grescia. I've talked about this deck way too much. I don't have anything else to say about this deck, but it's an oldie but a goodie. It's just like the 3-headed giant of Flourishing Fox, Lightning Rift, and Zenith Flare has terrorized us for so long. But yeah, after losing round 1, they kind of made a nice little run through the tournament to squeak in. I think they were actually the 8th seed, so they definitely squeaked in with a 61 card special. Again, Militant comes in. Militant's pretty great against a lot of stuff, but I guess the additional lures too kind of makes this deck semi-viable, because especially if they kill stuff like your Lightning Rifts or whatever, or you could like cycle something and then immediately play it again. Like all these cards are under 2 mana, so That's really funny. But it does like kind of eat up your Xenos player, but who cares? Let's see. Watch Wonder on Storm. Another kind of oops killer, I would say. It's a very uh, I've been told it's a very good matchup, but Watch Wonder definitely the best player this season. No surprise they're in top 8. Storm. I mean, this has been like the first time that Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and Mind Star we're all um we're all legal together, so it's fun to see this deck. At least one person made it there. Founding's been a new addition. Um Founding's very hard to play. I've noticed, but the timing can be really awkward. You can't just like kind of control it, but got them this far. Um I love the Rise from the Tides sideboard plan because you're playing Luris. Rise is like kind of something to do when all your tendrils are kind of bad at somehow. It's really expensive, but it's probably good. It's good to hit off a desire, that's for sure. Okay, where are we at? Uh, Last but not least, for the top 8 is another Oops player from Digimin. Looks basically the same as MG Fan. They just changed. They have a Colossus instead of a Legacy weapon, which is I don't know the difference. I mean, Colossus is another creature. I can't. Let me wait. Is there really a difference? I don't know. I guess you could use Legacy weapon, or you could like. There's yeah. I mean, Colossus is just like none of them will ever like stay into your graveyard really. Colossus is cooler. It's cooler art, I suppose. One of Lingering Souls is funny. Do you have Lingering Souls? Okay. One of Lingering Souls is an interesting card. Just kind of like you can only play it through milling it over. I guess they've had Halo Scarab, but it's a fun card. But yeah, I think like there were about 6 Oops players that played this tournament, and 2 of them made top 8. So it's not indicative of the best deck. I don't know what is. All right, I gotta pull up the standings for top 16. All right, 9th place. Once again, another cycling player, but a Boros cycling from Tigrak. Trying to take over best mod here. Very similar to Gresh's deck. Also 61 cards, so I think they're the exact same list. I think the Cyber might be a bit different, but yeah, Boros is back or never left. I don't know. Is this deck going to be around? I don't know. Next season, I'm not really sure. I haven't really looked at the prices, but this used to be the whole Boogeyman. I know. This is crazy though. It's crazy how they're just like popping up again. Especially in a sea of like, I guess if you try a bunch of Orange Chants and Dried Militants, maybe you can do something against the combo decks, but or you just dodge them. Who knows? But shout out to Tigrak and Greshia for both like running out cycling. 10th place. Queertim playing mono white control. Oh god, no. Sorry. Store window. Thank you. Thank you, Chrome. Alright, mono white control. Main deck Orange Chance. Main deck Blossoming Calms. Bunch of rafts. Just trying to kill you. I don't know how they even try to kill you. What a silly deck. Just a bunch of Decrees of Justices. Basically just trying to jam Decrees or Donna Hopes. That's really just the way to win. That's a cool art. I didn't see this art. This is a silly deck, but yeah, it's like only missing like 100 cards. This should be it's a Zerta deck, so they needed Zerta. Zerta Donna is pretty great. Or Zerta Monument or Maze Mind Tome. I love Maze Mind Tome. I hope it doesn't go away, but I think it will. But yeah, fun to see this deck go around. I mean, Blossoming Calm and Orange Shank go a long way of shoring up the bad matchups. Although it did get 2-0'd by Oops. Sometimes you just have to have it without much manipulation. It's hard to kind of just get there. Okay, 11th place. Another Oops player, Renato Sky, who's only played Oops pretty much the entire time they've been playing this season. They almost exclusively have played Oops. They have a much different version than the other Oops players. I guess it's a talking point. First of all, they're on the Azami Angels of Glory's Rise Lab Maniac plan, but they're also on this Nether Trader plan, which is like a sideboard juke. Like if you have a Nether Trader and like a Soul Shriek, you could just like get them. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if it's really worth it, but it's a lot of cards that kind of commit to it. But yeah, I don't know. They would know better than me. They've been played this deck almost exclusively this entire season. They're on a green splash as well for I guess Wild Cantor, which helps you kind of ritual out a little bit faster. A lot of main deck cards too. Main deck Grudge, Mortal Kombat too. this deck's just goofy. It just has a bunch of like goofy things. Main deck Revelation. What a two swamps in the sideboard. I guess against like wildfire decks. What a silly plan. A lot of things going on, but you know this was good enough for 10 tickets. Why not? DL23 playing Red Deck Wins. Red Deck's always a deck you can always count on. If you don't know like the format or what's going on, if you haven't played a long time, play Red Deck. Got some like old school cards. Rakdos Calculator. Overhead Helm. Is this card even good? I don't even know if this card's good, but I guess it's good if to connect if you've kind of exhausted your hand. But I mean, really, it's the first Copter deck we've seen. Copter is so good. I love Copter. Probably won't. Maybe you won't see this again. Has really bad like unfair matchups. So like Silent Gravestone's here. Curse is a new card that's been pretty interesting to see. Also, Scathing Berserker kind of helps you out with against Storm for those kind of like spell based combo. This time I beat aggro side. That's kind of crazy. Okay, yay, 784. Playing Dreadnought. This is the highest placing Dreadnought player. They're playing Is It version. I was on Mono Blue, but the Is It version's been way more popular. This list hasn't really changed that much for a long time. Red gives you Sprite Dragon, like Burst Lightning, Chain Lightning, and Fling, which is a really fun way of just like using your Dreadnoughts instead of needing combat. Um, on an 8 red source sort of thing, but I've seen a lot of things get flinged. It's really funny. You can also just fling your other random creatures if you need to. Yeah, this list hasn't really changed that much, and a lot of people have been playing it. See, this is how Gatherland kind of like calculates decks. If your main deck is like the same, then it also says this deck is also played as this. So look how many people have just copied the main deck over and over. A lot of people. So yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. I don't know. But interesting to see all this. Okay, where are we at? 14th place. Speaking of of uh champions of archetypes, David Brito's been playing like only almost exclusively this deck is the artifact mid-range Rakdos deck. It's more of a interesting sort of like Loris like sacrifice matters sort of deck. It's like a lot of like art like a lot of card drawing with Synthesizer and Astrolabe with Shrapnel Blast, Oni Cult, Seal of Fire, like, you know, Goblin Blast Runner loves it when you sacrifice things. Ice High Golem, Scrap Heap Scrounger kind of just beat down. Firebrand, a great little attacker slash sack outlet, sack thing for Goblin Blast Runner. Very low to the ground. Pseudo burn, pseudo aggro deck. It's good when you like play the same deck over and over. You just kind of know how to play your matchups. So they got them this far. It's good for them. Where are we at? It's 15. All right. Vaxor and Jeskai Ascendancy. This is the bridge version of Ascendancy. So they've got some Rise and Shines, Gleeful Demolitions, a couple Jogle Hops. This deck was really popular for a while. I think this is a Merpatty invention. Or maybe a Cookman. I don't remember who played it first, but Um, I mean, Wildfire has like a lot of merit against Oops players. It's just like being able to stone ring them, and that shell has always been really good. Gleeful Demolition just kind of like does other things. It kills dreadnoughts. It can kill like a Charbelcher, or just makes three guys. That's like awesome. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, it also has like a Jokel Hops kind of side plan if you want. This might be the one of the better Jokel Hops lists because it just does two things. Most Jokel Hops lists kind of just do a single thing, but this does a lot. It was interesting to see this again. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's never bad, I would say. Last but not least, but very quickly, it's another Oops player. Uh, a new player here, Big Floaf. On another Oops list, more akin to the winning list. Not much to say here, but yeah, again, like there was six Oops players, and I think six Oops players, and four of them made top 16. Two made top 8. That's that's definitely indicative of like that stack here. So but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think Dread Return's about to leave the format. Dark Ritual, I think it's not long for this world. Dark Amoeba, I don't think long for this world. So, but yeah, nice swan song here from Oops, and a good showing for sure. I don't know if there's any other more fun decks I saw today, but to highlight something, I don't know. I mean, the most fun deck was the Swans list for sure. That was really fun to watch. Watch that run go. Um, yeah, shout out to everyone that played. Shout out to you watching. Thanks again for supporting. Season 30's just around the corner. So hopefully we get back to brewing some neat decks, not just playing the same things over and over. We'll see. But it looks like a whole new frontier. A lot of these decks you see today are not going to be here next time. So it's going to be a whole new world. Will you be there? Join us once again. All right. I will be leaving now. I will take my leave. Again, thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the views.